you said, I write from an experiential perspective. So all my books are me, and so it's good. It's great. It's great. It's a great sense of accomplishment. Coming from where I'm coming from in Raquel, I am a 13-year-old school dropout. I dropped out of school at 13, had 2 children by the time I was 16.
Wow. What if writing a book is not just a way to transform the lives of many people, but also a way to create financial freedom and leave a legacy? Wouldn't you want to find out just how to do that? Well, that's what this show is all about.
Hi, I'm Hennika Watkis, Porter speaker, coach, author of Podcast Power, and the host of the Entrepreneurial You podcast, inviting you to listen to the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, brought to you by C. Ruth Taylor, best-selling indie author and the Caribbean's most trusted voice on entrepreneurship. Tune in for inspiration, information, and innovation to write and win with books. Get ready to dominate entrepreneurship.
Greetings, entrepreneurs. Welcome to episode 20 of the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. I'm your host, C. Ruth Taylor, and this is a show that gives you the roadmap to win with books beyond book sales and dominate entrepreneurship. If you are new to that term, entrepreneurship, it is all about leveraging books to advance your cause or meet your personal and professional goals, and doing things with your book, both for impact and income beyond the book sales. You could be creating courses, you're creating some initiative around your book and not just dependent on book sales. So on the show, we want to share with you stories of inspiration and showcase authors from the Caribbean and the diaspora who are doing those things, as well as introduce you to leading independent authors and their resources so that we can lead the field, make the Caribbean the home of independent publishing. That is the goal. And the show is for authors in the Caribbean and those who are of Caribbean descent living in the diaspora. All right. So coming up in today's show is an exciting, very life-changing, epic, transformational story of an author who went from being a school dropout, teenage mother, being diagnosed or pronounced clinically dead a couple times. And she survived all of that to becoming a leading figure, public figure in the island of Jamaica. She was even invited to the White House twice. And it's the story of Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar, and she's going to be sharing her awesome transformational journey with us and talking about her 3 books, SEXCRIPTION, Change the Journey, and the 52 Weeks Couples Devotional. And we're going to tell you how you can get in touch with her, because this interview is actually done at the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit held in January. And so this is an abridged or abbreviated version of that interview. So I know you don't want to miss that. But before we get into that interview, I am going to be sharing about my latest authorpreneurship ventures. What am I doing, and am I launching another book or something? All right. So I'm going to update you on my authorpreneurship journey. So this book, Write and Retire Right, we are currently doing the audio. No, I'm not going to be narrating it. It's being narrated by Candice Sutherland, and you are going to be hearing more about her in the future. So we are almost finished with the narration, and we are going to release it through Findaway Voices, because we in the Caribbean, we cannot get on ACX directly, and Findaway Voices is an aggregate distributor, and it's going to send your audiobook to different platforms. It's going to send it to Audible, and it's going to get it in several countries. So there's that. Then there is something I'm very excited about. I am just going to show you, screen share, and show you what that is. It is the Legacy Journal. Now, for many persons, especially older persons, when I encourage them to write a book, they're a little bit resistant and reticent, your grandmother, grandparents, and others, they find, and even some leaders, they find this process daunting. So what I have created under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit is what is called a legacy journal, so that our stories, our culture, our identity can be passed on. And you can use a guided journal to do that. So in this legacy journal, there are various prompts. So write down your experiences, your vision, your goals, your dreams. You can write down, if you're a Christian, write your Christian testimony in there. You have a part for your family tree where you can share your family story. You have a section there for pictures. We also have a little backdrop to the journal, sharing stories of what is behind this journal. We teach you how to journal. And in the back, in the user guide, we have a section there of how to convert a journal to a book, just in case you want to do that. And we're going to share an episode on that with an author who has used her journals to create several books. That's Dr. Jean Lee, coming out of Jamaica. And we're going to be airing her interview in the future. So this is on pre-order right now. The link will be in the show notes, but you could also go to my bookshop. That's extramileja.com/Roots bookshop. Click on the image, the legacy journal, and it will take you to the pre-order form to order this. This is a 250-page journal. So there is ample space for you to write, capture the stories, and pass it on. Now, this could be passed on at graduation, when the child becomes a teenager or an adult. It could be passed on at weddings. It could be bequeathed in death. You are creating your own family treasure, and it will be just as meaningful and impactful, if not even more, than a published book. And later, your family members, your descendants, could turn it into several books as they remember their beloved grandparent, mother, leader, somebody. I think it's just an awesome idea. And I have ordered the proof of that. And once it comes, I'm going to be finalizing it. And it's hardcover only. And the legacy journal goes well with the book Write and Retire Right: Secrets to Write Nonfiction Fast and Create Sustainable Income for Retirement. It also goes well with the book Penny to Win It: Going Beyond Book Sales. So you could get all of that together. We are eventually going to put a kit together, but for now, it's just a journal. And it's hardcover only, and you can pre-order that. And I want to use this book now as a platform to encourage, as our Minister of Education and Culture had said on World Book and Copyright Day, that we need to write and publish more of our stories. As Caribbean people, we need to write and publish our stories. And the Legacy Journal will help us to do that. Even if it is not a published book, later your descendants can turn that into a published book. So document those family recipes and all kinds of things. I am just excited about the Legacy Journal. So yes, those are all the awesome things taking place. And so now, before we get into the interview with Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar, we want to have a word from our sponsor, Frame Art Jamaica Limited.
Come to Frame Art Jamaica Limited for your one-stop framing, graphic design, and printing needs. We frame photos, certificates, paintings, t-shirts, and so much more. You can also get high-quality prints and framing done in a quick turnaround time to fit your budget. Visit Frame Art Jamaica at 22C Old Hope Road, Kingston 5, weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call us at 876-929-3058 or visit us at info@frameartjamaica.com. Serving you for over 30 years.
Bishop Carla Dunbar is a marriage and family therapist and a licensed sex therapist. She is a certified professional life coach, media consultant, director of Carla Dunbar Ministries and Counseling Care, and the founder of Life Temple Ministries International and the Grow Your Marriage Academy. She has turned her story, mission, and passion for family and relationships into 3 books: Change the Journey, SEXCRIPTION, a prescription for sex, and a 52 weeks couples devotional. Her passion for marriage and family continues to propel her to fulfill her mantra of rebuilding Jamaica one marriage at a time. And so you're going to hear her story, which is an abridged version of what she shared at her Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit in January. The interviewer was Raquel Newman, author of The Albino Marketer. And so let's get on to the interview.
Good to be here. It's good to be with you this morning. And this is so exciting. It's a wonderful world. I can tell anyone that the Authorpreneur secrets, the academy, everything, awesome, awesome, awesome. You can't afford not to be a part of this. I'm joking. This is a movement that's going all places, and you have got to be in it to win it, right? So this is great. It's great. And it's awesome to be here. Tell you about my books. Perhaps I should tell you about me, and then the books will follow.
Tell
right?
me about you.
I've been living on my own since I was 13, right? And ironically, it's a description and not a prescription. You know, I've been living with my spouse. Well, I was living with my boyfriend then, who is now still my spouse. So we have been together for over 40 years, as you heard. And so I developed a desire to want to help persons for their relationship. Hence the reason I enrolled at the Jamaica Theological Seminary. And my quest continued while I was there, right? Just talking to people about sex and relationship. And whenever they give me a paper to write, it had a little bit of sex in it for my theological papers. And so I closed out that by doing my final paper, looking at the attitudes and perceptions of Christian couples towards sex as worship, right? I thought there was so much ignorance, that people were suffering, marriages were suffering. And so I thought we needed to tap into that. However, the Lord he told me to write my testimony first. And I obeyed the Lord and put my testimony out there first. That is Change the Journey. That book, it's an autobiography. It's a testimony of my death experiences. I clinically died 4 times in 2009. I've been paralyzed twice in my life. I have been mentally ill for over a year. I was blind for over 3 months. So I went through a series of stuff, right? And so I had to talk about the healing power of God, the saving grace of God when he took me from a dancehall queen and put me in the pulpit. God wanted me to get that out there because persons who knew me before naturally had to know how the transformation took place. And so that's what happened. And on the 20th of February, while still being sick, I accepted the Lord as my personal savior, as my Lord and my savior. And my life has never been the same since. I can just say that, right? It has evolved, right? And so it is in accepting the Lord, attending seminary, that I came to national attention. I tell you 2 things that happened. While I was attending seminary, there's a course, and Ruth can attest to this course. There's a course taught by the regal Mrs. Blossom White, right? Caribbean Family Life, I think the course was, right? And this was a dreaded course. I think Mrs. Blossom White was a dreaded lecturer. I don't know. But I took that course and I came out of that course with an A. It was shocking to even the seniors who were ahead of me, a year ahead of me. How can you get an A in Mrs. Blossom White class? But that happened. And then, of course, Mrs. Blossom White saw something in me and she approached me. Right, everyone went to C in the course with C. But I came out with an A.
Wow.
And I think Mrs. White, I call her my mentor, even though she never formally mentored me. So she saw something in me. One day she just came up to me. First thing she told me to do was to get a group to put a video together for something. And of course I did that. One day she just walked up to me and she said, Carla, I wanted to produce a program. I didn't even know what the word produce meant. Honestly, I went to seminary at Duns because I heard the word psychology for the first time in my life. I didn't know that something named psychology. I went there to become a guidance counselor. That's it, right? And so I heard some words, I never heard them before. And so I had to keep a vocabulary book, by the way, to write these words. I heard the word Sigmund Freud and thought it was a war happening in the Middle East because the rabbi used to come to seminary to chapel and talk about this war happening in the 1040 window. So I just thought Sigmund Freud was one of them other wars. So it's a whole awakening for me, can I tell you? So she came and she told me she wanted me to produce a show. I went to my group, which Ruth was a part of, and Andre and Shauna. And I said, what is producing? And they enlightened my darkness. Because you know these young people and bright like corn grain. I was seen as the mother for the group. So they told me. So I said, Mrs. White said she wanted me to produce a program. And I didn't know what it meant. She just told me what she wanted me to do. Tell me she'll come back to me in June. Like, that's it. Go and do it. And so I just, after I asked them and they told me what it was and told me what to do, I went and did it. And when she came to me in June, I was ready with a show, right? And at that time, Family Life Ministries was on RGR. So I started out there producing. And then after that, she bumped me up and said I must co-produce, co-host. And so I was co-hosting. And so that happened. And then the late Ian Boyne, one of my mentors, he called me one day. I was in Portland. I was just about exiting seminary 2005, and he called me and told me he wanted me to be on Religious Heart Talk because he called the seminary and somebody told him that he wanted a clergy person to talk about sex, and somebody told him that I am the person. And he called me. Can you imagine? I almost threw the phone away when I heard it was him on the other end of the phone. Suffice to say, I did that interview, which was followed by subsequent interviews. And I went worldwide. I went global, right? With that. Ian said he didn't know that so many people watched his show until he went overseas and they were asking for the sex professor, which is what they dubbed me, the sex professor. And of course, as I said, I've been on the show a couple more times. Then I had my near-death experiences or my death experiences, and then I went on to profile. So you'll find in the foreword of Change the Journey, Ian Boyne writing that he said him invited me. Yeah, he said in 25 years of Religious Heart Talk and 14 years of Religious Heart Talk and 25 years of profile, he had never had anybody to come on both shows. I am the only person that he can recall who has been on both of his shows. And he said it was not an act of courtesy. It was something that my life demanded. Just seeing who I was, what I'd risen from, and how I've overcome. He said my life demanded it. So that was Change the Journey, a very inspiring book. I mean, it's out of print now. Intending to revise and print again because so much has happened in my life since then that I needed to put this out there, and I have to include those things because I've journeyed to the White House 3 different times. Being invited under President Obama, being invited again under President Trump, to do different things at the White House, and being invited to the Congressional Black Caucus in Washington, D.C., and being awarded over there. I received the Fellow of the Most Excellent Order of International Experts in the field of marriage and family counseling. And I also received an honorary doctorate over there of philosophy in the humane letters, right? And that is for my work in the Caribbean, of course, with marriage and families. So I have more to add to that book, and that will be done. SEXCRIPTION came about because of the lack of knowledge. Like, I was already out there and doing that, right? Because I wasn't a Christian. But then I came to seminary, the place where you're supposed to know these things. And it was a taboo and nobody was talking about it. I mean, it's in the Bible, but that part is not read. And so I was intrigued. I was intrigued, but I was worried. I was like, how something so satisfying and nice can be so taboo? And it has a proper context, So I just started writing when I got the paper to write a Caribbean theology, I wrote a Caribbean theology of sex. And then my lecturers, Mr. Palmer, Mr. Pearson, they were just bowled over about, my boldness and what happened. And then they encouraged me to do my final paper on the matter, which I did. And then leaving seminary and realizing, going around and speaking now, Ian Boyne had created a platform for me, and I was being called here, there, and everywhere, speaking in 3 different parishes in one day, and all of that, and realizing that the sexual ignorance was too much, especially in Christendom. It was too much, when I believe that is something to honor God. And so the Lord instructed me again. I wrote SEXCRIPTION, and let me tell you a joke about that book. I wrote the book, I take 5 days to write my book, by the way. I'm that kind of a writer.
Wow.
I'm not the writer who start right from last year and end up this year. I don't know how to do that. Everything is in my head and I just go sit down somewhere for 5 days and the book comes up, right? And so I wrote the book. I came back and I was about to send it off to the publisher. And I started to feel a way about it because the content, it's intentionally erotic and all of that. By the way, Reverend Dr. Clinton Chisholm wrote the foreword in that one because I had listened to a couple of his tapes and stuff while going to seminary, and I wanted to ensure that my book was biblically sound, theologically balanced. And I thought the best person to help me with that was Dr. Chisholm. So I connected with him, sent him the manuscript, he read it, and he wrote the foreword. So it biblically sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote that book. So when I was about to send it off to the publisher, it's like I started to feel like, oh my God, they're going to excommunicate me from the church now. And I'm pastoring the Church of God of Prophecy, a very conventional church and all that. Oh God, I can't do this. I need to change some of the words in it. And so I sat down at my computer and started to change some of the stuff. And I heard, put it back. That's it. That's all I heard. Put it back. So I put it back. I called my bishop and I said, Bishop, I'm going to send you the manuscript. If you're going to excommunicate me now before the book goes to publish, because it's going to go to publish. And I sent him it and he looked it through and he called back and he said, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. Biblically, it's a little bit raw. And I said, no, it's not raw, sir. I said, no. I said, I'm very candid, but never raw. I'm never vulgar. Right, but I'm very candid, so I'm very open in the book. And so I sent it off to the publisher, Pelican Publisher. They were the publishers for those 2 books. And as Kamika said, I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars publishing those books, had I known what I know now. And I didn't know anything about publishing and stuff. They did that. And the book has sold whole heap. I mean, they're both on Amazon, but just practically selling. And this is where it started for me, because whenever I go anywhere to speak, my books sell like hot bread, like I don't have hands. I remember speaking at a Caribbean summit for insurance, Carifa. I remember speaking for Carifa and I didn't have hands to sell the book. We had to be sending Tara to the different bookstores, pulling the books off the shelf when I ran out of the books. Because whenever I open my mouth to speak, my books just sell like hot bread. I went speaking for Caribbean, for Kiwanis, and the same thing happened. I had to be pulling the books off the shelf, having Tara running here and there to different stores, taking the books off the shelf because they just sold, right? And so SEXCRIPTION has sold, I don't know. I don't have a figure in my head now, but my first print was 4,000, my second print was 5,000, and I don't have 100 left over right now, right?
Wow.
And they're not in the stores sitting down on shelves. They are sold, right? Because I kind of just pull them back off the shelf. The stores might have a few, but not a lot, right? So practically sold a lot. And then the Lord led me to write this Couples Devotional. And I was about to write a 365 when the Lord stopped me again. It's good to hear from God when you're doing what you're doing. When you're a Christian author, it's really great. When you hear from God, you know that you don't have any problem with your books. And I was about to write a 365 daily devotional for couples because I knew the necessity. My husband and I, we have been through the rigors of so many things that we know that we must rely on God. And I was about to do that, and the Lord says, no, there is enough of that out there, right? A weekly. Because if I can get couples to just spend 20, 30 minutes once per week, focusing on me and asking my direction, then it would have been well worth it rather than a hurried 10 minutes to try to just say you have a devotion. And so the 52-week Couples Devotional, it's entirely about marriage. It's entirely about sustenance and maintenance of marriage. Every devotional in that book for the 52 weeks, and there are bonuses in there, is about your marriage from start to finish. It's not a dated devotional, so you can pick it up anywhere in the middle of the year. You can use it and reuse it for years to come because it's not dated. And it gives you what I call M&Ms. They're not chocolate, but it's just as sweet. It's marriage maintenance tips for everybody. Yes, purpose precedes profit indeed, because I believe that I was intricately designed according to Psalm 139, intricately purposed for this. And so when you know your purpose, and like Kamiko said, that the author had said, best earning author, I really prefer to be a best earning author rather than a best selling author, right? That is so much more important, because the truth is, if you know your worth, if you spend the time building value, building the product, I am the product and I have value. And if I spend my time building the value of my product, I don't need to seek the money. The money is going to find me because I am the value, I am the product. You understand? And so I just need to be building my value. And one way to do that is to use my books, because my books now are becoming they are the text for my courses. As you learned, I opened the Gym Academy last year, the Grow Your Marriage Academy. That's what it is. It's a gym. It's a workout for marriage, relationships, right? And persons intending to get married. So it's a Grow Your Marriage Academy. That's why GYMM. It's a Grow Your Marriage Ministry, Grow Your Marriage Academy. And I launched it in October of last year, right? And it's taught on teachables.com. And this was born out through Ruth Taylor, right? She was a person who guided me in this process, who created the course format for me. And I taught and certified my first cohort of students who finished. By the way, they didn't have a marriage course. They did a MRI, which is a marriage readiness intelligence. That's for single persons.
Like myself.
That's learning self. Yes, that's marriage readiness intelligence. That's understanding self-acceptance, gaining self-awareness, understanding the purpose for your singleness and what you should pursue, understanding transition between dating, courting, and marriage, understanding what marriage means, what God intends for it, understanding your wholesome and healthy, holistic sexuality, all of that. So that is what is taught. That is a course that was taught in the gym last year from October to December, a 6-week course, right? And the students were certified. Crystal Day, another winning author, she was a part of that course, and she has spoken very highly of the course. So that course was taught. I had 15 students in that course, and that was taught. They were finished. And the course is back in demand again. So it's going to be, again, coming around in mid-February. I think February 17th is going to start again, because single persons are enrolling for the course, the MRI again, as well as, of course, the marriage maintenance course is going to be coming on board, I think, on February 15th. So I am in Books to Box. I am in transformation, through the books. I am in earning from the books, just being on the shelf somewhere, to becoming a product that is reaching far and wide. It has transformed my life. It has transformed the life of so many other persons. And I can tell you, the 52-week Couples Devotional, it is also going to be the course text for the marriage maintenance courses. And Ruth is currently, she wanted me to do it myself. And I'm this kind of person. If Grace puts coconut milk in a pack, I am not going to grate the coconut. That's just me. If you cut up the callaloo and it's seasoned and it's in a pack on the supermarket, I'm going to go and buy that. I am not going to cut the callaloo and strip it. So I don't see why Ruth is here, to create the course for me and all of that. I don't have the time anyway, to go and sit down and create the course and all that. I don't have the time for that. So she's currently mapping out the marriage maintenance course. So couples who are on, you need to register at the Grow Your Marriage Academy on teachables.com for the marriage course. And single persons, you need to register at the Grow Your Marriage Academy on teachables.com for the MRI. It's a medical term, and it's meant to create intelligent awareness, right? Before you run in and get married and reach the divorces that Raquel is talking about. So the divorce course is, and that's why the Lord said, teach this course to the singles first, so that they don't make the same mistake that other persons make by romanticizing marriage and running into it without having a proper understanding. I really have no time, Raquel. I have full days of clients at my office, full days, and then I speak internationally. I'm booked here and overseas.
This is one thing I realized coming up, because your books came from not just your life experiences, but it came from your need to say, hey, wait a second. A walk going out the road, the people don't know this. People are not aware, especially in the Christian community. They said sex was taboo.
You said I write from an experiential perspective. So all my books are me, you know, and so it's good. It's great. It's great. It's a great sense of accomplishment. Coming from where I'm coming from in Raquel, I am a 13-year-old school dropout, you know. I dropped out of school at 13, had 2 children by the time I was 16.
Wow.
Right. I sat with my girls when they were going high school and did subjects, and that's how I got the matriculation to enter into seminary. And that's why I entered to seminary kind of like a dunce, not knowing certain things because I wasn't formally educated, you know. So when I'm in a class with like Ruth and I heard them introducing themselves, remember that fussy class, Ruth? In a fussy class, and you're all introducing yourself, and I hear them saying, in the future I want to be so, I'm a graduate of so and so, and in the future I want to be so and so. And when it comes to me, I said, I'm Carla Dunbar. I'm not a graduate from nowhere. I'm Carla Dunbar, right? And I hear them saying, like I heard Shauna, my friend Shauna, and I hear Shauna say, in the future I want to become a forensic psychologist. And I go, my brain just pop open like, what was that? Forensic psychologist, there's a word, there was a word that I didn't even know what that was. Like that just hit me, you know. And so coming from that platform, and I went through seminary. When I became president of the seminary, the student council, and all of these things are mind blowing things for me. You understand? But again, it's purpose. You understand? And then when I graduated, I got the most outstanding uncontested leadership award. You know, I graduated with honors. No, these things can blow anybody away. So everything that happens, all of these things that happens in my life, I don't take them for granted. So I don't say, no, this is the grace of God ultimately. And so yes, each time I have the same excitement inside of me, like this is a birth, I'm giving birth to something new. And it's always exciting because everything is different from the last, and it's still going to be something exciting.
I'm sure you enjoyed that story. And when you listen to that story, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, her story will inspire you and let you know that you can become more, you can do more. And if you want to get in touch with her, you can connect with her at carladunbarministries@gmail.com. You can email her there. You can find her on Facebook at Carla Dunbar Ministries. You can find her on LinkedIn. You can also check out the Grow Your Marriage Academy. That's bit.ly/Gym Academy. That's GYM Academy. And the links are in the show notes. So that's it for today's show. I want to encourage you to take charge of your publishing, go pen it to win it, and dominate authorpreneurship. Ta for now, until next time.
I'm Tamara Francis, educator and editor. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share the podcast with your network. If you'd like to increase your impact and income with books, visit Authorpreneursecrets.com for more resources, including the books Pen It to Win It and Authorpreneur Secrets. Join the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy membership group for courses, coaching, and community support to write, publish, and win with books. Enrollment is in January and June each year. You may also sign up for one of Ruth's Publishing Made Easy courses or private coaching to write and publish your next book. Until next time, go pen it to win it.